Hey neighbor, welcome back to Beyond ARTV. My name is John and today I'm going to be reacting to Rolling Stone's Top 100 Best Albums of the Decade. This publication and I, while we sometimes get along, I consider them a pretty reputable music news source. I also have had so many disagreements, and I understand that it always boils down to personal opinion, but after seeing the Pitchfork Albums of the Decade list, I'm really hoping that Rolling Stone surprised me in some way. Look, I doubt I'm gonna be wowed, but it's gotta be better than that one overall, right? Maybe. Who knows? We're gonna get right into it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm sorry for the reactionary content as of late. Just know that I'm putting most of my effort and time into all of the year-end lists that you've been seeing, and those are very, very draining. So I'm not just trying to pawn off easy content on you. It's just that my focus is trying to be on that. So anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. Drop a like on it if you do. And here we go at number 100. I didn't get any spoilers or previews of this list at all, and I'm trying to switch over tabs now without even seeing anything, so here we go. Scrapping past the thumbnail there, we know, number 100, The War on Drugs, A Deeper Understanding. I've been one of those people that haven't exactly gotten it, like it hasn't necessarily clicked for me when it comes to the war on drugs. Like, I really did like a few records that came out in the 2010s, in particular that 2014 release. But overall, I don't know. There's just something that maybe is missing for me. Lana Del Rey's Ultraviolence at number 99. You know, for as much as I don't care for her, this was one of her better projects. I think Dan Auerbach of the Black Keys produced the majority of this one. There were some good songs on there. Shades of Cool, the opening track, I believe it was called Cruel or Cruel Summer or something like that. There's a few that I'll occasionally put on, and I was kind of blown away by a few moments where she showed signs of life, kind of a deserty rock almost vibe on this one. So I'm glad it wasn't one of the others, although I'm sure we'll see them up higher. Future's Monster at number 95. This is another artist that I've never seen the appeal of, really. Future, his whole auto-tuned aesthetic. I know some people will just rave endlessly about Dirty Sprite, DSD2, and everything like that. And there's been a few songs that I've thought were okay, pretty good, maybe had a good beat on them, like Mask Off, for example. I love the instrumental and the beat, but I can't stand Future's overall presence on it. Songs of Innocence at number 93. Oh my God, Rolling Stone, can you just let it go with the whole U2 thing? This was one of the ones, I think this was the follow-up, if not, no, this was the one. This is the one that was on everybody's phone. Father of the Bride, are you kidding me? At number 92? This was easily their most mixed bag of a record to date. Let the record show that I love Vampire Weekend. Their first three records are like near classics, and it took me a while to come around on modern vampires, but I still just haven't warmed up to Father of the Bride really at all. I'm missing something maybe? 91, Tierra Whack, Whack World. I've heard a lot about this record, but have not ever heard it. It sounds like I need to, because I keep seeing this not only on the list that I've reacted to, I've seen this on some others too. Arctic Monkeys AM at number 88. I think some people kind of got me confused and twisted a little bit when I said that this is one of their worst records. I also don't feel that the Arctic Monkeys have a bad album. In my reaction to Pitchfork's list, because they did feature it as well, I said it was one of their weaker efforts, but I still really do love this album. I was just saying that I wished it had gone to something even stronger, like Suck It and See, which somehow I forgot about in that video, and also even Tranquility Base I would maybe prefer to see, just because it did offer a lot, but the list isn't over, we'll see. Angel Olsen, My Woman. I got into this record literally this year. Finally, I checked out her newest album, and I went back and heard this one in full because I had heard select songs, and I knew people loved her. Kind of like a neo-country, also some indie stylings, and the new record was a little bit more synthetic, chamber pop even. But this album, My Woman, was so good. I wished that I had heard it sooner. Metallica's Hardwired to Self-Destruct. That is really surprising that they gave Metallica a nod here. Cool. Jamie XX in Color, absolutely. This one floored me as it grabbed me more and more. It was almost too experimental and ahead of its time for me at its time of release in 2015, but I just talked about one of the songs from this, Sleep Sound, and a couple of others. The one that featured Romy, for some reason the name is evading me right now, but so many great songs on here. I know there's gonna be good times. Loud Places, damn it John, that was the name of the song. Loud Places featuring Romy. This isn't really blowing my mind to see this on the list at number 83, Eric Church and Chief. This album was actually pretty good. I think Springsteen was on this album, if I'm not mistaken. Creepin' also. A good amount of singles that I did actually like from this release. And Eric Church overall, he's definitely one of the better people that's broken through to the mainstream. Kamasi Washington, the epic. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have the attention span. I tried. It didn't do anything for me. Kesha's Rainbow at number 79. Now that deserves a little tip of the hat. That was so underrated. Even after it debuted pretty high its first week, it just kind of fell off the charts. It didn't do well enough with its singles, and I wished that it had done a lot better. So it is nice to see some people remembering and recognizing this effort, because the rocking affair that she had going on here, it was just great. It was one of my favorite records for 2017 for sure. It's great to see another publication acknowledging Soccer Mommy's clean here. At number 78, Sophie Allison, so talented as a musician, as a vocalist, her skill and insight. It's just, you can tell, even though she's really young right now, there is a building block there that's only going to continue to rise. Frank Ocean's Nostalgia Ultra, was that really this decade? That feels like so long ago. 2011, according to this article. Honey Bear, Honey Bear. Why am I singing this in the tune of the Friends song, Smelly Cat? Honey Bear, I love you, Honey Bear, Father John Misty. This just got awkward really fast, but I fucking love this album. I love Father John overall. I mean, I know I had the audacity to put my opinion out there that I didn't care for pure comedy all that much and found it a little pretentious and boring, but I've loved most of his stuff, from Fear Fun to God's Favorite Customer, and obviously this being the best of them. Pusha T's Daytona, yes, such a great compact disc, literally. Just a CD there. It's a compact record. I mean, 7 songs, it's brisk, it's produced by Kanye, so many great bars, punchlines, everything about this just works from start to finish. It never lets go. Jenny Lewis on the line. I've never really been able to fully get into Jenny Lewis. I know that she's touring with Harry Styles, I think, next year, so if I actually end up going to that, I'm gonna have to give her a second shot. Jack White's Blunderbuss. Yes, thank God somebody else agrees with me on that record just being amazing. It will definitely be on my decade end list. I love this thing. I go back to it pretty consistently, at least probably every 6 to 9 months. I just put it in rotation, and it's always that familiar friend. It's very grounded, very down to earth, sparse in places, but Jack White excels at doing just that, and his songwriting on his debut solo full length was incredible. Grimes' Art Angels, yeah, 71. If this is on here, then Oblivion sure as hell better make the list. That's all I can say. Drake, if you're reading this, it's too late. Come on, man. Filler. So much filler on this. Lizzo's Cause I Love You. Ugh. You know what, I've said my piece. Florence and the Machine, How Big, How Blue, How Beautiful at number 68. A beautiful thing indeed to see it here and appreciate it. I'm already debating myself which Florence record is going to make my decade end list, and honestly, I think it might be this one. I love the rock side of Florence and the Machine. They just did so many epic things here. I mean, have you heard Mother? Have you heard Ship to Wreck? Incredible record. Bad Bunny, oh God, ugh. Threw up in my mouth a little bit there. Jesus, why is everyone stumbling over this dude? 66 is Good Kid, Mad City, and this is shockingly low to me. I mean, I know To Pimp a Butterfly kind of came and overshadowed it, but this is such an amazing concept record that runs over an hour long, but it never loses its focus or its narrative. I almost feel that it does get a little bit underappreciated. I mean, I know everybody shouts it out and they're like, yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly, and also Good Kid. But honestly, they should be more like hand in hand. St. Vincent's self-titled record. Yes, this is another fantastic pick. I was really kind of sad to not see it on a few of the other lists that I've looked through and haven't reacted to, but I think Pitchfork had Strange Mercy on there, but not the self-titled. I honestly think the self-titled is like leagues better than Strange Mercy, and that's not even saying anything bad about that record. It's just that this one is so well executed from top to bottom. Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer makes the list at number 63. This was a really good listen. It does feel a little preachy in places, and that's kind of what pushed me away from it over time, is that it got a little bit too familiar. It's like, okay, I understand what you're getting at. It doesn't feel like it's as nuanced as it could have been, but the music is exceptional. So are Janelle's performances. overall, I did dig this record. Not one of my personal favorites of the decade, but I can understand why critics ate it up. Paul McCartney's Egypt Station. Now that is another surprising pick. I know that Paul McCartney, obviously the Beatles, it's like, how could you be shocked at seeing Paul McCartney? Everybody loves him, right? But his solo records, even stuff with the Wings, it feels like it gets forgotten about sometimes. And honestly, not all of his solo albums have been anything to write home about, but Egypt Station, it was. Can't forget about I Don't Know either. That is such a well-written tune. Just seeing Paul kind of grappling with his current reality, getting older, it's an amazing insight. Again, are you kidding me? The Pink Print by Nicki Minaj. I even went back and resampled this album just to see if I was absolutely crazy. Like, I listened to this album back in 2014 and I just had such a bias against Nicki or something that I just couldn't hear it right. I listened to it with cleansed ears and I don't get it. I don't at all. I can't stand Nicki Minaj. Harry Styles right after that. Okay, you know what? That makes up for it, Rolling Stones. That makes up for it. Harry's debut was just such a landmark. It was just like putting a flag on the moon. Like, I can do this after One Direction, you know? And also, Harry was always the most talented, just saying. Miranda Lambert's The Weight of These Wings at number 58, no arguments there. Alabama Shake's Boys and Girls, as I've said previously, one of those groups that I just couldn't get into, but also I really appreciate Brittany Howard and the rest of the band. They're talented at what they do, just not my cup of tea. At number 56, we had Sky Ferreira's Nighttime, My Time. Thank you, Rolling Stone, for providing the censored cover image so that I don't get demonetized, but this is a great kind of synthy 80s retro record. I mean, where is Masochism, though? She has gotten screwed over by the label so hard. I feel so bad for her. RAM, Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, is a must for any decade list. That is all I'm going to say, because that's all I feel I need to say. The Idler Wheel, yes, by Fiona Apple. Do we have a full title in the description here? I don't see it. I'm not seeing the full title here. That's not it. It's The Idler Wheel is wiser than the driver of the screw, and whipping cords will serve you more than... Khalid's American Teen at 52, is a little gimmicky, but I did enjoy this album at least a lot more than Free Spirit, because wow, that was just a free fall into a pit of nothingness. But American Teen, he was showing a lot of maturity for his age. I think he was like 18 or 19 when this came out, and there's a lot of bangers on here. I think that he just kind of has lost his way a little bit. He's churning out music too quickly. Arcade Fire, The Suburbs. Cue up speech from John from ARTV about how he can't get into Arcade Fire, The Suburbs. Rolling Stone made me move over to another page, so moving into the top 50, we have Emotion by Carly Rae Jepsen. Absolutely one of the best pop records of the decade. And if you disagree, then prepare to fight her very furious fan base, and probably me too. Watch the Throne, of course, is a given for this list, I feel like. I know a lot of people are saying that it hasn't aged well. I disagree with that sentiment. Bruce Springsteen at number 46 is such a Rolling Stone dad rock pick. I mean, honestly, Wrecking Ball, it's one of those things that you just check out. You just casually invest yourself in it. You try to see maybe what the old fogey people are checking out and listening to, if Bruce Springsteen is having anything to offer. And it's fine. You know, it's serviceable for its crowd. But to say it's one of the best of the decades, it just kind of feels like you're servicing some sort of fan base here. Hyam's Days Are Gone at number 44. Okay, yeah. A bright, infectious 70s leaning album that was clearly inspired by Fleetwood Mac, but great nonetheless. Sturgill Simpson's A Sailor's Guide to Earth. Absolutely, yes, I know this is a little bit out of my wheelhouse here as far as what I normally cover, but I think I've mentioned this before. I really do like Sturgill. I think he's extremely talented. SZA's Control at number 40, definitely a critical darling right here. This record just fell into that pocket where everybody in that critic sphere was loving it, and it had some commercial drive-in success as well. I love that song Prom from this album. I still keep coming back to that, and obviously some of the singles as well, some of the other deep cuts. It really is a great listen. Chance the Rapper Coloring Book. I've never been crazy about Chance the Rapper, although I appreciate kind of what he's doing, the movement that he represents. Frank Ocean, Channel Orange, called it. Channel Orange was one of the most influential albums of the decade. I really don't feel like that's a debatable statement there, but I'm sure some people maybe would try to, but honestly, the impact that Frank had after this record, what it left with people, it's kind of unmatched. Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy, cracking the top 40 at number 34. Why? What is the spell that this woman seems to have on everyone? That's like, oh, I'm actually good, when she's actually just a flaming pile of garbage that's just so heated about nothing. Like, oh, You in my face, I'm gonna say a bunch of shit, and I could not care. I could not get invested to anything that I've listened to from Cardi B. Mitski's Be the Cowboy at number 33. Yes, absolutely. To see her succeeding and getting more and more attention on her, I mean, I got on board with this record, Be the Cowboy, and I went back and checked out more of her stuff, and it's like, wow. Wow, where has this been hiding from me? I love the way that she writes songs. Norman fucking Rockwell, what is everyone's obsession with this album, man? Like, it just dropped and everyone's like, best of the decade, best of the decade. I mean, it's better. It's an improvement. It's an improvement. It's probably Lana's best, but again, her best is a 3 out of 5. It feels both timely and timeless, chock full of political and cultural references alongside on-brand nods to her jukebox heroes. God, I hate some of these write-ups. They feel like such like ass kissings. 31, Billie Eilish, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? For as much as I do like this record, I again feel like this is almost like the bait to get people to draw into this article, invest their time reading through it, give Rolling Stone the ad impressions. Well, I am using the ad blocker here. And also, I do love this album, but 31 of the decade, I mean, I'm not even sure if it's gonna crack my top 20 of the year. So, what the fuck, dude? At number 30, that's just 3 albums in a row from 2019 and all from female pop artists. Ariana Grande's Thank You Next. Again, a major disagree. I mean, she has way better records than this, first of all, that came out this decade. Yours truly, and honestly, Dangerous Woman as well. I mean, Thank You Next is a good album. Honestly, it might be her second best. I think that is up for debate, of course, but still, I think they're really trying to just serve as fans at this point. I mean, 3 in a row from 2019. You know, the more I look at it, the less mad I am. I mean, I really do like this album. It's not one of my personal favorites, but I do -7 rings enjoy like every song on here pretty much, at least in some regard, -7 rings, because fuck that. Car seat headrest Teens of Denial. Thank you, Rolling Stone, getting us back on track, driving the car back onto the road instead of out just bashing into trees over and over again. But yeah, Will Toledo on this record, a genius. Honestly, updating his sound in some ways from that lo-fi to still retaining elements and bringing in a backing band. I love this release. Can we Alexa, can we play Drunk Driver, Killer Whales, or else 1937 State Park, please? Kendrick Lamar's Damn at number 27 was a shoo-in. I'm just wondering how high To Pimp a Butterfly is. Personally, I think they might stick it in the top 2. Rihanna's Anti at number 25 is an impressive release. It was definitely a step in the right direction for Rihanna. I think up to that point, I had mainly seen her as that artist that was putting out an album every single year, and it's like, why am I gonna be bothered to care? You're just putting out the singles on the radio, the rest is like filler. But she actually took her time with this one, and I'm hoping her next album is gonna be just like that, because it's already been like 3.5 years. Vampire Weekend, Modern Vampires of the City. Thank the good Lord. If this was not on the list and Father of the Bride was on here, I would probably have a brain aneurysm. Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool at number 22. This, oh man, what a special album for me. This is the album that made me fall in love with Radiohead. As somebody that previously couldn't get into them, as I had stated, this was the key that unlocked to the heart and just the portal of the mind's eye for Radiohead. Courtney Barnett, Sometimes I Sit and Think, Sometimes I Just Sit. Another one that I love from another overseas band. We had Radiohead from the UK and now from Australia. We got Courtney Barnett, and I love her just kind of droll aesthetic that she has on this. Just her quiet observations, and it's actually working out to probably be one of my favorites of the decade too. Taylor Swift's 1989 makes the cut at number 19, and this is my personal favorite. I think this is her best album. I know so many people would say Red, Red, Red all the way, but 1989 was just a synth pop banger machine. Parquet Courts Light Up Gold. Honestly, this is a little bit surprising that they picked this one, but I'm glad that they did. I enjoy this group a whole lot. Honestly, I thought I was probably gonna see one of their other albums, maybe Sunbathing Animal or something, but I'll take what I can get. Oh, you did not. You did not. Jay fucking Balvin, dude. Why? 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 Okay, I'm clearly losing my mind a little bit, but moving on to number 14, the Black Keys Brothers. Whoa! Whoa! What? Whoa! What? What? Oh. I think this is genuinely the most surprised that I've been the entire time that I've done any of these like decade or year-in reaction lists, because I just feel like most critics just dismiss them, and even though I mostly feel that I've grown away from the sound of the Black Keys, I cannot deny that between Brothers and also El Camino, they just hit this marvelous stride. They were just blasting through the tunes, and so many tracks on here, like 10 Cent Pistol, are incredible. I love this album still, even though overall, I just have kind of moved past the Black Keys. There it is, Yeezus, I knew it was coming. There's that horrible album artwork. I'm gonna catch hell for just even saying that, but there it is at number 13. You know what? I still do like this record overall. Blood on the Leaves is a masterpiece, I'll say that. Almost to the top 10, and there she is. There's my girl Casey Musgraves with Golden Hour. Absolutely, just to put the crown on, accept it, Casey. You know that maybe in the past you didn't think you were pageant material, but here you are, the front runner for the crown. LCD Sound System, This Is Happening at number 10. Okay, James Murphy and company, well done there. Haven't revisited that one in a while, but I probably should. At number 9, Pistol Annie's Interstate Gospel. Yeah, this is an incredible listen, honestly. I'm glad that Rolling Stone does feature a little bit more in terms of the country persuasion, because this is actually good. Some people need to be reminded that it's not all bro country. Number 8 is Adele's 21. Yeah, this was like the album of the decade. It just broke, man. It broke records, it broke sales and charts everywhere. People fell in love. After like Chasing Pavements and a few others had really made an impression from 19, I think this is just the landmark defining album of the decade in a way, because it opened a lot of doors, and also it does have kind of that timeless sound and Adele's voice that could just fill up any room. Lord's Melodrama at number 7. Oh, this makes me so happy. This makes me so incredibly happy to see this in the top 10. I might just tear up. My girl Lorde, oh, underrated, slept on for this album even. I would go as far as to say that this definitely should even be a little bit higher. It probably will be on my own personal list, but you're gonna have to subscribe to find out about that. Number 6, Drake Take Care. Yeah, this isn't a bad top 10 so far. I'm not having any major disagreements here. I think this is Drake's best record by a country mile. Number 5, David Bowie, Black Star. You know that I'm not gonna disagree about that. You know that you can't disagree with that, right? I mean, the legend released this just a few days before his own death. He knew this was coming, and it's just such a haunting, impactful listen. Number 4 is Taylor Swift's Red. There it is. I already gave my opinion and statement on that. I love this album. It's a close second for me, though, behind 1989. Number 3, To Pimp a Butterfly. I thought top 2, but we were very close at number 3. This is obviously an amazing, game-changing project from Kendrick Lamar. K-Dot killed it on this one, putting out political messages, race issues, just highlighting a lot of different things. He even had fun with some of these, and then also there were the depths of depression that were explored. It's just a fascinating, intertwining listen that paves together so much. Almost there, almost to the top of the mountain. At number 2, Beyonce's Lemonade. Yep, I know some people in my viewer base hate Beyonce at all lengths, and then there's others that come out of the woodwork and out of the beehive to just slap me down because I don't generally like Beyonce, but I loved this record. So while I personally wouldn't rank it this high, I totally get the appeal. This is a career definer right here. She just really elevated her game in so many different ways, and the collaborators on this album, amazing. Number 1 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye. Somebody get Anthony Fantano on the phone, because this is a 6 out of 10. No, this is probably my favorite Kanye LP. I mean, it's up there with like The College Dropout. I mean, there's so many great songs on here. Some people are saying that this, in addition to Watch the Throne, just they're trying to say that everything Kanye hasn't aged well. I think that's probably just because our perception is skewed right now, because Kanye is such a polarizing figure. Honestly, I'm not gonna mince words here. I think Kanye's delusional at this point. I really don't like him. He's a very narcissistic asshole that is just projecting one thing to the next. It seems like he's having manic episodes going unchecked and no one is doing anything about it because he's an artist or whatever. But this was kind of his defining work, kind of his magnum opus in a lot of ways. Some would even say it's his beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into my reaction and breakdown of the top 100 albums of the decade according to Rolling Stone. Please drop a like on this video if you did enjoy it, and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What was this list to you? Was it awful, in between, or actually really good? You found yourself agreeing the majority of the time. Tap right here if you want to see another Rolling Stone reaction where I reacted to their top 100 songs of the century so far, or if you want to see another year-end or decade-end reaction, then tap right here. All of my social media accounts can be found in the description down below, and I'll see you soon for more right here on Beyond ARTV.